All right. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would do a video for you guys and gals. I'm just drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. And yeah, so I can't even do the spiel. I am not awake, man. That is like my very first real sip of coffee. I just kind of jumped straight in here. So these don't get as live as the evening ones because I'm not fired up. I'm not going to spit a lot of fire. I'm just going to chat with you guys. Hey, Lars, how you doing, man? Talk to me, brother. What do you got going on? What's up? How you doing? So let me double check the sound. It loves to turn my sound down there. It still did it. All right, let's try that. All right. Hopefully we got good sound. I got the mic. I've got the mic pulled back just outside of the camera because it gets in the way. So I got to keep the volume cranked way up. Hello, sounds good. Good to hear it, David. I did deadlift session in today. It's a little cold, but I want to do it with the garage door open. So hopefully it goes pretty good. We'll let the sun get fully up. Do a nice good top set of deadlifts. If it doesn't feel too good, I want to start working some good mornings back in. I love my good mornings, and I really haven't done them. I did them for just a couple of weeks a while back. And I really want to do them. Although I think I really want to go higher rep, right? I want to get some good rep work in. I'm going to do more and more of that with my power building as I've kind of rotated through a little bit of rep ranges for secondary lifts. I think other than lifts I really, really care about, I'm going to start focusing on going a little lighter, just trying to take ranges of motion as extreme as I can, and staying strict on everything. I mean, the exceptions are going to be squat, bench, deadlift, probably incline to some extent, because I do like being a little stronger on the incline. Maybe overhead press. Those might go under 8 reps. But really, I'm using weights with the incline I can hit 8 reps with, just not consistently across all sets. So, yeah, really, I want most of my work to be up in the 8 to 15. I think that's where I need to go. Same thing, when I've gone heavier on curls, I don't feel like they're working that well. I really need to focus on being strict. Same thing now with the tricep stuff, trying to get that deeper stretch. Just really bodybuild the non-powerlift exercises more and more and more. Really think that's the core of power building. And I did mess with last week, kind of doing, guys like Paul Carter. Oh no, everything should be 4 to 8, and quite frankly, I just don't feel a lot of it the same. Right? And by the way, guys, the coffee chats, I don't read any of the trolling stuff. I have them set to where people can't even see them afterwards. We just talk. So I'll answer your fitness questions, life questions, and we just ignore these guys. They can waste their time doing it, though, because it gets into the algorithm faster. So I actually have it set to where they can spam in the coffee chats. There's no timer. So he can post that 100 times. All right. So what do we have going here, guys? Anything going on? We got anything happening? So again, that's going to be my day, man. I'm going to get up. I'm going to deadlift. Depending on how the cold, we've got a big cold front. It'll be gone in a week. This will probably be the last cold week for the whole year in Texas. Bruno says, morning, Jason. How did you feel about dips for overall chest development, assuming the person can execute? If they can execute them with no problems and they can get a full range of motion with no pain, I'm for it. I think they're fine. The issue with dips is the injury risk, and it's when guys start doing partials trying to load them heavy, that you're really looking at a high injury risk. And keep in mind, I want to be clear, a dip is not any better than a barbell or a dumbbell for chest development. It brings nothing to the table for pec size you can't get with a dumbbell. Okay, we do need to be clear. Biomechanically, it does nothing beyond what they can do. All right, nothing at all. But they're fine if you can do them safely. But the second you start doing partials to load weight up, that's when you're risking tearing a pec or injuring your shoulder. And keep that in mind. There's no benefit to it over something like a dumbbell. But is it a good exercise? Of course it is. It's great exercise. It's just risk versus reward. You have to weigh out. Bano, that seems kind of silly considering I've literally made fun of that guy in videos recently in the evening chats, even make fun of his fake accent. So it seems kind of like a strange post. All right. I did shy away from that guy for quite a while though, but now I've realized just come at him head on. I'm going to start making videos calling him out too, just like he did to me. All right, might as well. There's nothing to lose. In fact, he's got a whole lot of nonsense he could be called on. No point being afraid of anybody at this point in the game. I mean, really, is there anything more anybody could say about me than they've already said? All right, Jason, do you think it's good to have a 35 millimeter bastard squat bar? I don't know what that means. What do you mean a bastard squat bar? Is that a company? Edu says, why does NH do fake accent all the time? It's outrageous French accent. It's so annoying. In one live stream, he claimed he could speak Spanish, but then he doesn't know enough Espanol. Yeah, strange. I barely speak any Spanish. I speak at such a tiny amount. Been doing dips since I started lifting over 15 years ago, full range of motion from day one. Never had problems. I feel people who had problems with some basic exercises are ones who started with bad execution. Again, a lot going on with it. Monk says it's a barbell. Okay, but it's like a barbell I've never heard of. So, I mean, if someone makes just like a new barbell somewhere, it's probably not necessary, man. People have hit 1,000+ pound squats just fine on a squat bar, right? The one I have is rated to like 1,500 to 2,000 pounds that Texas Power Bar makes, and it's meat legal. So no, I don't think you need anything beyond that. I think that will cover everything you need, right? I think the Texas squat bar of meat legal one will cover any possible need you could have, up to even being the best squatter in the entire world. Keep in mind, a lot of weight classes, even for USPA, use a normal power bar. And guys just fine hitting 800-pound squats on it. You know, so no, I don't think you necessarily need that one. You know, but I have a 25. Well, I guess mine, I don't know the diameter. I wonder if mine is 35. I don't remember from memory. I would have to check it, but I have Texas squat bar. They actually might be 35. I don't know. I'm not awake. Bruno says I've used as a primary exercise, but nowadays I like it as a secondary to lift flat bench. Yeah, I mean, and I think it's fine as a secondary, Bruno. Perfectly fine. I mean, dips are a good exercise. I have no problem with dips, if you can do them safely. Only thing is, I had a client tear a pec on dips. He wasn't even prescribed dips on my program. It's one of those freak things where he's just like, after the full workout I gave him, he finished his whole workout, and he started showing like his brother-in-law how to perform a dip at the gym, and he tore a pec with just his body weight. I'm like, he was a 350-pound bencher. I was just like, really? But there were some other factors at play. So I just, you know, squat bars are thicker, are good for a bench press. I don't know about always benching with them. Yeah, it will add a different dynamic. I never bench with my squat bar. In fact, I'd have to move my whole bench to even fit it. I think it would probably potentially tap my washer and dryer. I wish SSBs were more common among gyms. We have some good gyms in Brazil. Never seen one though. Stephanie Crowley, I love the characters in the Blaha extended universe. You got one guy making 28 hours of videos garage holding a stack of papers like he's declassified, right? Those are probably empty papers too, aren't they? That's outrageous transaction. A fucking ill general direction. That's him right there. Your mother was a hamster. Jason Bleble, your mother was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberries. Now go away. Yep. Yeah, I mean, he built his whole name off of me, didn't he? He really did, man. He would be nowhere without making hours of videos on me. So, all right. I'm going to do the same thing back to everybody. It's clearly a viable strategy. Blow my channel back up. Watch what happens. Watch me keep getting leaner, keep my carbs low, keep training the way I'm training, and then keep doing the call outs. See if my channel, where it's at in 6 months or a year. NH is into anime, never seen him. Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen him or Alex with a woman? Yeah, he doesn't even have a real name. He's not a real person. Fake name, fake accent. Into nothing but anime. Come on, dude. Really? This is these people's hero? This is who they look up to? Yep. Yep, pretty much. I mean, damn. And his followers want to try to clown me. It's like you're literally following a guy who trains in his basement with a fake accent, who's never, ever been seen with a woman and bases his whole life on anime. I mean, come on, guys. I really think you guys have the wrong LOL cow here. You might want to go look in that direction. Just saying. He would actually be a better target. Remember when Gigan Gaines took a cardio kickboxing class and started challenging everyone to cage match? Then he got challenged by an actual fighter, backed out. Oh, yeah. And he says it's weird that NH supports neo-Nazi groups and calls Jason a Nazi, right? When I'm literally here, have clients of every ethnic group put up. I've been seen on camera hanging out with people of different groups. You know, and he's going to call me this stuff. It's like, are you serious, dude? You know, come on. Like, I clearly hang with everybody. Like, I don't care, dude. I don't care what somebody's skin color is. I really don't give a shit. I actually do not care. I guess that's not a qualification to be in my circle. You know? So it's just ridiculous. But then he hangs out with actual neo-Nazis and supports them. Like, you got to be kidding me. I just don't, man. I fucks with everybody, dude. It's all good. Bruno says the practicality of high-fat diet sometimes attracts me. Been on high carbs, low fat for most of my life. I fear the high-fat, lower food volume would impact satiety. No, Bruno, I do pretty good. Okay, the ones that get me, I'll overeat when I do peanut butter. I have to cut that out. That's why I did it for a little while recently when I went low carb. I've got to try peanut butter. Peanut butter, I will overeat. But in general, no. If I'm sticking to mostly meat, dairy, and eggs for a lot of it, or even avocados, dude, I'm good. Peanut butter, though, is super easy to overeat. So it really depends on what you have going on, especially if protein is high and vegetables are there. You're good. All right. As long as you're not doing the junk food, low carb, it's actually kind of hard to overeat. Again, you start adding bacon and butter. Peanut butter is not junk, but I mean, it's almost like if you want to bulk on that sort of diet. You start adding peanut butter. But yeah, no, dude. I mean, even if you start talking the higher fat foods, it's kind of hard to overeat cheese eggs with spinach in them. Just saying. Is golden one natty or not? Man, I'd have to do. Honestly, though, I might give the golden one a possible pass on natty. Actually, maybe. Keeping in mind the guy's overall structure, and when you see what he looked like when younger, he's not one of these guys who didn't look super fit and jacked in their teens or anything. Kind of matters. Also, keep in mind the dude's really tall, good insertions, wide shoulders, trained his ass off. I mean, I'm not saying he is natural, but he never obtained a truly freaky look, and he always had that structure even when he was younger. Does that make sense? He's one of those guys who kind of had almost that Arnold-looking structure when the dude was younger. It's not like these other guys who looked like nothing and then built up into those physiques. That kind of matters in that context a little bit. And I think people forget that. Like when I'm calling these guys out, they clearly didn't have good genetics. These were not genetically gifted people, some of them who got called out. And they made all of a sudden, after 10 years of training, they put on another 8 or 10 pounds of muscle out of nowhere and look striated. Yeah, that's bullshit, guys. I think people miss that point big time with the natty or nuts. Okay, they're missing that big time, and they're missing the fact that you can see when they went on orals and stuff and get the moon face and everything. All right. Sometimes white rice is a problem for me. It seems like it goes straight through because yeah, sometimes that can be the case. It's easy to eat. That's why it works so well, like on the vertical diet, right? Red meat and white rice. Like if someone's trying to get super big on gear, it works big time. Big time. But it's not necessarily the best way to stay lean, to do all that. But I mean, you can stay lean on white rice too, but it depends on the person. Yep, Bonnie says NH had a business plan intention from the beginning, and the channel it did. I mean, again, keep in mind he started the whole channel going in on me, built his audience with that, and then went in a couple different directions. He was always going to make money. He knows that he will. All right? He knows he will. Cookie says, hi, Coach. Hello, Cookie. How you doing, man? You good? I'm just drinking my coffee, guys. At least we got a few veins this morning. That's a good sign. It means the booth is coming back down. What do you think? You wanted me to pinpoint drugs. He definitely looked a little trendy. Last time I saw him looking really, really lean. He definitely liked orals a lot when he bulked. He looked like a lot of test and debulk. Maybe some A-bombs back when he did his whole bear mode thing. But I mean, if I had to guess these days, probably just a test and trim guy, to be fair. I don't know if he's on DECA. He's probably not, because he does like to do some tested stuff sometimes. That's the issue. I like DECA for bulking, to be fair. Just keep in mind, you got to be careful with the fake muscle from it. But I think for me, the funny thing is I get other coaches who aren't biased and they don't hate on me. It's very clear what I use. Like they're just like, yeah, you can tell you use Primo, tested Primo. Just kind of have the look. And it's when they see things like the forearms and calves, and it's kind of obvious. Cookie, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Blood pressure on deck is an issue. So do we want to give a little quick lesson here? So I'm going to give you a couple pieces of advice if you're going to mess with DECA. If that is an issue for you, if the blood pressure is out of control on DECA, you need to probably lower your testing and get your sodium way down. Sodium to potassium ratios. Swampy Huber Primo, and I love Primo. Yeah, dude, I love Primo too. Loner says, "Hey coach, I'm watching your live while working. Can't afford to miss them." I actually added a small amount of DECA in last week because I had a bunch. I got it for free. Well, I don't want to get into the story how I ended up with some DECA that, from my normal guy, but I ended up with some, so I threw a little in. Lowering my test though, I've got to bring the test down if I do DECA. Jason, do you think that nowadays young bodybuilders are still in the G for P? I tolerate DECA pretty well, Cookie, personally. I just worry about fake muscle from it, because of the intermuscular boost, that then you lose it if you're not careful. But I think that's manageable if you use a DHT with it and you keep tests low. Anti-system. Jason, do you think that nowadays young bodybuilders are still in the G for P? Some of them will. I don't think it's to the same percentage in extreme that it used to be. But then again, they have OnlyFans. They're getting paid to just flex on Instagram now. Guys talking about tests for blood pressure problems. A lot of info from Victor Black, John Hewitt. I don't know. I'm somewhat familiar. I know more about John Hewitt than Victor Black. Masteron, probably 200 to 400. You'll start to see some of the benefits. Primo though, I feel like you start seeing benefits at 200 straight up. And it's because people don't know how to use it. They're thinking you need tons and tons of it because they're trying to get bigger on it, and it just doesn't add weight to you. No matter what you do, it's just not going to do that because it's such a slow accumulation of tissue proteins. So you're on what, 500 Primo 500 test? Yeah, that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. All right. That'll do it. Just be aware when you add the bar to it, watch for the sides on it. Especially with that much test, just watch your back pumps if it's real animal. Also, it's going to affect your lipids a bit. You might lose that perfect homeostasis you have on your test of Primo. You might have to lower the Primo a little. All right. Yeah, and Hilda Circle as well. Will only training extended range of motion lead to diminished returns? Been noticing shoulder discomfort from overuse. What do you mean extended range of motions? No, full range of motion should generally be fine. Maybe there's something wrong with your form or what you're doing. Bloods are pretty good right now. Antivars to replace trend. I don't know, Antonio. I have a client call I've got to do at some point early afternoon, and I got to work around it with that. I need to pick a bigger name. I need to get a bigger outreach on it. So I have some ideas. I've heard a couple of people I'm going to look at. But yeah, no, he's not a big enough. I need a big name. Like these 100,000 follower channels probably aren't quite going to cut it. So I want to throw a bigger one out there, like maybe Mike Thurston or somebody. All right, might be the way to go. Work my way up the chain here. John Bravo. John's not a fake natty though. I reached out to John. John hit me back the other day, actually. I'm going to start talking to him again. All right. We already know that Paris Butler is a fake natty. Assuming everyone knows Bald Omni-Man's name is Paris Butler. we used to talk, and then he like flipped the script on me. He used to be all up in all my social media, my Facebook, my YouTube, everything. I don't know. I haven't seen him lately. I don't know what he looks like for the last couple of years. Probably the French guy's fault. Their whole noble natty crusade, their whole crusade. But yeah, no, Cookie, that's pretty aggressive stack. That's 1.3 grams, a lot of DHTs. I mean, you'll be full and dry though. I'm gonna make him respond. He'll respond. He can't help himself. Well, Cookie, it's just your genetics for it. I mean, with the French guy, his attitude alone tells you he's not naturalist. You don't have to look at him. Anyone who has that sort of arrogant attitude, in my experience about it, is always on gear. Been my real life experience. So even if he was tiny and didn't look like he lived, I would assume by default. He's on gear just purely based on the way that he discusses it and with the arrogant attitude of treating it like a natural, like a religion. No, dude, that's a front. That is such a cope and extreme front for a fake natty. So I don't need to see what he looks like to know by default that he's on gear. Does that make sense? That attitude alone tells me everything. He could be 120 pounds. How's my day going? I don't know yet, man. I literally just started my day. I've been awake about 5 minutes before I jumped into this live. I turned the coffee pot on, but then I went back to sleep. I'm sleeping a lot with the way I'm training right now. My sleep is high. I haven't gone out in a few days. I was out 3 nights last week, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm staying in. I ain't going anywhere. I might have a friend or two come hang out here this week. I'm not going out at all. All right. I'm not going to go into what all I did in Tony yet. But no, I had New Year's Eve with some friends, and I put up footage. I put up actual food pictures on Facebook from a date night on Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, and then Friday night I went and hung with some friends. It was a case of with a friend that told me she wasn't free to hang out, and then she's like, I'm at the grocery store trying to grab some food, and she's like, hey, I'm feeling better. I was just tired earlier. If you want to hang out, let me know. All right, get my groceries home. I said I was pounded tail. I said I was hanging out. Right? So you got to just hang out and chill. Keep in mind, guys, I'm only hanging with MILFs. Like my minimum age is like 36. I don't know. It's actually all the girls I hang with at all are over 40 these days. But to me, that's young. I think guys forget that. I'm 48, so to me, 41, 42-year-old chicks, that's young chicks, right? All right. Uncommon Sense is new rising fake natty 20K subs. Peppermint Coach, you're looking proper lean. I think the haters have it even more desperate seeing you. Yeah, let me get a little leaner, a little stronger. I'm getting strong again now. Peppermint. I just hit a 505 box squat this week on a 12-inch box. I did 500 2 weeks in a row, then we hit a 505. I weighed 215 this morning. So Antonio, plug it in yourself. I'm 5'9". I weigh 215. You estimate whatever you think my body fat is and plug it in a calculator and come back and tell me what it says. So, you could plug it in and check it in 20 seconds and do it. I'm recomping Cookie. The scale will probably start working down now because my calories and carbs are down a bit, so it may start trimming down. It says 27. Antonio, what did you estimate my body fat at? But 27 probably sounds about right. I wouldn't waste time talking about Master T, honestly. At 15, I think I'm lower than 15, but 15. So even if you put me in at 15, 27 fat-free mass index, right? Yeah, I wouldn't waste a podcast on Master T. It won't get enough views. Like, why would I do that? Plus, I'm not going to make for the guy has obviously got his own set of issues. I'm not going to make fun of him. He's obviously just a weird dude with his own issues. I feel like he has possible just mental issues, and therefore I'm not going to pick on him and make fun of him. It's not. There's limits, guys. All right. What percentage of gym goers use pets? I don't know. That are serious. I don't know. I have no idea, Cookie. I mean, we're asking around the world. I mean, in the UK, they did a survey and it was 30% admitted in an anonymous survey. Yeah. There you go, Cody doxing me, putting all my infos up. Why do so many years users sick so small? Because they don't eat enough protein, they don't train hard, and they don't eat enough to even weigh the body weight. I mean, realistic, it's literally their diet and their just lack of training. How many of them really only train their arms, you know? And it's also a time under the bar. I think, Antonio, people forget that. They see someone who's using 500 milligrams, you know, and they assume that they're going to be really big when they're still a noob. I mean, I'm sorry, dude, you're only going to gain so much muscle in 3 years, even if you start doing some 500 milligram cycles. And then they cycle on and off anyway. So, all right. Yeah. There's a lot of factors. But yeah, you're right. The average year user just isn't that big. And we know that from research. Like, even if we talk about a fat-free mass index, right? The average steroid user, when they did do the fat-free mass index, they still came back smaller than the natural limit. So in other words, the average gear user is still inside of what could be obtained naturally. That's what the study on all that showed on fat-free mass index, because they also surveyed like 50 year users or 100 or whatever they did, and they took all their fat-free mass index also. And the average steroid user only has like a 24 fat-free mass index. Antonio, it's not pretty fault. If you go look further, other people have done more research on it. So, Antonio, have you looked at Menno Hanselman's data on it? He is an actual researcher who did doctoral work. Okay. So when you look at he's estimated based upon his observation of, you know, long time studying lifters, that he's done it as a percentage base, which I think is interesting, because it's kind of like, then it's saying what percentage of the population would have the genetics to probably reach that fat-free mass index drug-free. All right. Antonio, but why does that seem low? Antonio, the reason that seems low to you is because you're used to fake natties. So if you've spent all these years observing fake natties, that does seem low to you. But at the time that studies were done, that was literally like one of the biggest, most jacked, natural, world-class bodybuilders in the world. Okay, Antonio, how do you know they're natty? Because they told you they're natty? Let me explain how this works. Are you jacked? Or are you on steroids? Like, are you in the board? Are you in the circle? Because if you're not, let me explain how this works. You're going to get tons of guys who will tell everyone in the gym they're natural. Nothing but chicken and rice bros, right? Okay. When they get around us, they get around the other people, they talk about their stacks. But they run around telling everybody they're natural when it comes up. Yeah, nothing but hard work, man, chicken and rice. You see what I mean? So in that context, Antonio, just because they're telling you and all the guys at the gym who aren't on gear that they're natural, doesn't mean they're natural. I mean, I've literally had drug tested powerlifters who, when the bros are talking, they come over and talk about their stacks. Well, this is what I do, this is what I do to get around the drug testing. I've had that happen when it's the bros talking. So you have to understand that difference. And Tony, I'm not answering that because honestly, a lot of that isn't even me. I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. So that's kind of the problem. Like a lot of those comments people are making, I have no context for what they're saying. So, just an FYI. So, yeah. Well, then, Antonio, then you're a troll, and I'm not going to talk to you because I don't know what you're talking about. You know, are you talking about bodybuilding.com where I trolled and trolled and trolled for years? Everyone knew I was trolling there all the time. So I don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. But as far as other stuff goes, how do you know they're actually me? I've had a screenshot sent to me from a forum that wasn't even me posting. They screenshotted it, and it was a person replying to me who wrote it. They're like, you said this. And I'm like, that's literally not even me. It is literally a screenshot of someone else in the screen saying it is not even my profile. But my profile that was in the same post with me, like in the same screen, in the same thread, but it wasn't even me. Like, and I'm not going to go into the details of it, but it was literally someone, a troll, sent it to me, and I'm like, in your own screenshot, I didn't even say it. If you look at the way the thread was laid out, it was literally somebody else. in their screenshot. So do you kind of see the problem with that? They don't even know how to read a form. And I'm not going to say specifically what it was, but it was one of their major talking points people have. And it's like in the actual evidence, they didn't even modify it to make me say it. It is literally someone else saying it in the same thread that is not even me. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, Cookie, you're right. It's messing around. But a lot of it, I have no clue what they're even talking about. So really, when people make a lot of the references, I don't actually know the reference. So I just ignore it because I literally don't even know what they're talking about. Like several of the ones in here, I have no clue. Like, was it a joke I made on bodybuilding.com or something? Like, I literally have no idea. So, I could have made that joke. I don't know if I did or not. I literally have no idea. Like the one the guy said up here about the horse semen or something. I have no recollection of this post. Is it possible when I trolled that hard on bodybuilding.com that I could have written that? Yeah, totally. I just don't remember doing it. You know, I don't actually have any memory of it, but it's possible. Sure. I joked and said a lot of shit. It's called the MISC. I don't think people understand how the MISC worked. Toby, guys, we're getting really late into this one. I got to get ready to go train. Yes, Toby, I train people for certain competitions. I don't do bodybuilding prep. That would need to be outsourced, but I do prep people for powerlifting and strongman. Yes. All right. Atomic says, "What's up, Blaha? How you been?" I'm about to wind it down, brother. So, if I had to run one PED that isn't test, what would it be? Probably Primo. Right? Yeah. I don't know. As I get older, though, I literally may just go over to something like test deca and growth or something. I don't know. You just get them from the clinic. That seems to be a pretty straightforward, easy thing to do. You know. All right, guys, but I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. So I hope it's been informative. I love all of you guys and gals, and I'll talk to you next time.